right, good Wednesday, everybody. We are live talking about the forecast for today and the next several days. Biggest story right now is the elevated fire weather danger for south central Texas, but in the sky it's mostly quiet. You can see a lot of sunshine fighting through as the clouds and the light rain moved out and east of San Antonio from earlier this morning. You can see Calaveras Lake, Skycam, Morgan's Wonderland Camp, all seeing mid to high level clouds, but not obstructing the amount of sunshine we're seeing out there this afternoon, this morning as well. Okay, so big story going forward is the elevated fire weather danger. It all starts with this right here. Hondo, Medina County, Northern Bexar County to Kendall County and Guadalupe County, pretty much anywhere from I-35 to I-10 towards the hill country, we're seeing really bad drought. So last year was the second driest year on record. Now, when you combine that with the gusty winds, the drier air moving in behind this frontal boundary this morning, it's creating a bad setup. So you can see extreme to exceptional drought is pretty much right smack dab between San Antonio, the hill country. It's really bad in our neck of the woods. It does improve towards the coastal bend, towards Torrey, but pretty bad here. And again, that's creating a bad setup. Afternoon, please avoid any outdoor burning. We'll chat about the details coming up in just a bit. Okay, so outside right now it's 80 degrees, looking pretty good. 80 at the airport, west-southwest winds at 13 miles an hour, and mostly cloudy at this particular shot. But as you can see, we'll see a lot of sunshine today. And as a matter of fact, we'll get up to about 88 this afternoon. So a lot of heat for the end of February. We're almost done. We're only about 7 days away from March 1st. So time is going by fast. Okay, so a fire weather warning and or a red flag warning in effect for our western counties. You can see San Antonio, Bexar County is not included in this particular warning. However, please, again, avoid any outdoor burning because anywhere west of, let's say, I-35 toward Eagle Pass, Del Rio, yes, their drought is not as bad as San Antonio's drought. However, with our front moving east, I do think by and large, the air is going to be a lot drier. The relative humidity values will be a lot lower in this particular area, which is why the Weather Service has issued these red flag warnings for our western counties. But again, even if you're not included in a red flag warning, it's still not bad. It's just going to be I think if anyone should avoid any outdoor burning just because if anyone's out west, it's just worse, but anywhere across south central Texas, it's still a bad setup, so please avoid any outdoor burning if you can. This will go out of effect at 8 p.m. tonight, and for San Antonio and western counties around 5 p.m. this evening, wildfire form and continue will spread rapidly, and strong winds, dry air, warm air may contribute to extreme erratic fire weather behavior, and this is why it's in effect until 5 p.m. tonight. And winds will start to relax this evening towards 6 and 7 p.m. Meantime, temperatures are around 70 to 80 in the area. You can see pretty quiet in regarding the temperature. It's not cold. It does not feel like February at all. We're at 81 at Hondo, 82 at Pleasanton, and 78 Lavernia, 82 at Eagle Pass, already up to 85 at Cotulla. So if you're watching from, let's say, down I-35 towards Cotulla, down towards Carrizo Springs, likely hitting 90 degrees today. Not San Antonio, we'll be near 88. But anywhere between George West and even Beeville, pointing farther west towards the Rio Grande, Carrizo Springs, Del Rio, likely going to jump to 80 this afternoon. So it's going to be very, very warm in the forecast for today. Now, dew points, not too bad, but notice what's behind the system. Very dry, gusty air. So this particular air mass is going to move across our region. And what that's going to do is, again, lead to extreme fire weather behavior, but also drop our humidity. So right now it's not bad. It feels nice outside. Temperatures in the 70s. But as this air mass moves across the region, these kind of dew points, that very dry air is going to bleed across the area. And it looks like it's going to lead to helps temperatures crank up into the upper 80s and lower 90s, and that's going to be the culprit for that. And here are the forecast wind gusts. So it looks like by 2 o'clock today, winds sustained 15 to 20 miles an hour this afternoon, up to 25 and 30. So it's going to be a breezy, sunny, and very warm because of those dry conditions. And then by this evening, quiet. By tomorrow morning, early Thursday, 5 miles an hour. That may contribute to some patchy fog, but we're not looking too concerned for that. And then by this time tomorrow, 11 a.m. Thursday, a northeast breeze coming in, gusting around 20 to 25 miles an hour. So it looks like the main threat for fire weather will be today, and it should back off slowly by tomorrow into Friday as well. 87 to 88. It's going to be warm. It's going to be humid for the time being, but I would say afternoon and 2 o'clock, the air is starting to dry out, and that's what helps temperatures boost up in the upper. From Carrizo Springs, Cotulla, Del Rio, Eagle Pass, we're at 90s today. It's the end of February. It should not be this warm, but this is going to be Texas. Okay, radar. See, there's the rain, right? So I'll actually put that full screen and show you that the light rain is now exiting. And what you're seeing out Eagle Pass, just some clutter on the radar. But we're going to see mostly clear skies, and the clouds and the moisture is going to move off farther east away from us, and we'll be left with the sky all day today, looking pretty good. Out west, we're keeping an eye on this particular system right here, but right now it looks like it's going to be farther north. It's not going to be a problem for us. As a matter of fact, and we'll take a look at the 7-day. It's going to be quiet. I mean, every day probably in the upper 70s and lower 80s, with the exception of Friday just a bit. Today at 5 p.m., 85, but again, we'll probably be around 88 high temperature. Look at that. Eagle Pass, Carrizo Springs, Cotulla, George West, Beeville, around the lower 90s. It's going to be extremely warm today. Clear skies and that westerly wind contributing to an elevated fire weather threat. Tonight, clouds moving from the Gulf, but we'll be pretty quiet here in San Antonio. Tomorrow morning, maybe some patchy east of San Antonio. And then by tomorrow afternoon, a mix of sun and skies in the 70s and 80s. And here's the long-term weather player. You'll see by this weekend, Sunday, it's still pretty strong in the Gulf, this ridge of high pressure. And I'll actually put this forward into next week, next Tuesday, next Wednesday, and it does move farther south. That's the good news. However, we'll still be influenced by this weak ridge of high pressure all of early next week. What does that mean for us in San Antonio and the area? It means clear conditions, highs in the 70s and 80s, and no big-time weather system. We'll see a trough develop out near California and LA, but otherwise keeping quiet in our forecast area. Top February is on record for 80-degree days. That was back in 2017, 13 total days spent at 80 plus. Back in 2000, same thing with 96 and 62. Now, 20 to 80 plus, a total of 3 times, so we're not even in the top 5 or top conversation. But when you look at the 7-day, we have plenty of days going forward in the 80s, so we could rack up another 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 on top of the 3 we have now. To some of those records, I don't think we'll get in the top 5, but something to keep an eye on with just small chances at rain. All right, here's your 7-day forecast, 68 on Friday, so that'll be a brief cool down and then a quick recovery this weekend. Saturday, 80 degrees, 81 on Sunday. If you look very closely between tonight and early tomorrow, a weak front that'll help drop temperatures on Friday, and then another weak front Sunday into Monday. That'll shave off a few degrees from 81, but other than maybe some morning drizzle this weekend and some isolated shower on Friday, it's going to be very slim picking on rain chances. And otherwise, the big story, average this time of year is actually 69 to 70, and you can see each day going forward, it's going to be extremely warm. 88 today to near 90, 82 tomorrow, 80 on Saturday, 81 on Sunday, and near 80 on next Monday, next Tuesday. And that's even 6-7 days out. So we could likely even adjust those numbers to climb into the 80s, which is likely based on the pattern we're looking at with high pressure moving in by the early part of next week. And March 1st begins next Wednesday. Last day of February is Tuesday. And aside from a few sprinkles and a light shower between Friday and Sunday, it's nothing to cancel plans over, but something to keep in mind as you plan out things later on this weekend.